6 News at 10.
We've had a long night with our children and grandbabies we have left.
As senseless as this tragedy was, our sweet Belle would not have been able to deal with losing so much family yesterday. Please don't forget Sutherland Springs.
And we begin tonight with the latest on the tragedy in that South Texas town. Thanks for joining us. It's a staggering loss for a community with only hundreds of people.
26 people dead, 20 more injured following a shooting inside a church. You just heard from the pastor and his wife. Their 14-year-old daughter, Annabelle Pomeroy, one of the victims. The gunman is identified as 26-year-old Devin Kelly. Authorities believe a domestic dispute led to the shooting. Kelly's mother-in-law attended that church, but she wasn't there on Sunday. An armed citizen shot Kelly as he fled the church. Then he and another man chased Kelly until his vehicle ran off the road.
He sustained 3 gunshot wounds. 2 gunshot wounds were from the armed citizen. One of those was in the leg and the other one was in the torso. And he had a third gunshot wound, which the medical examiner described as being consistent with being self-inflicted.
More than a dozen people wounded in the shooting remain hospitalized tonight. 10 of them are in critical condition.
Sutherland Springs is a small, tight-knit community, and today they're coming together to support one another in the aftermath of yesterday's terrible events. Chris 6 News reporter Jane Caffrey spent the day in Sutherland Springs, and she has this report.
As of tonight, all of the victims' bodies have been removed from the church. They've been identified, and the next of kin is being notified. Now that they're gone, just memorials stand in their place and community members coming together to remember the ones that they loved and lost. For residents of Sutherland Springs, the 26 slain are not numbers. They're neighbors. They're friends.
I have 2 friends that I went to school with and their families. I know they're still at the hospitals.
The bullets struck nearly 50 parishioners, an eighth of the tiny town of just 400, where the largest church shooting in U.S. history was completely unexpected.
We were just shocked.
Local Leah Riaz and her family came across the crime scene shortly after armed civilians chased the gunman.
We were actually stopped at the intersection where the shooter was actually wrecked, and we just saw the cops, all the sheriffs putting on their vests and getting out their guns. And I have 3 children, and so we were scared to death. We didn't even know if he was alive or dead.
Many parents in the area are struggling to find explanations for their children.
Her Baptist Academy up the road in San Antonio was on lockdown today because of it. Now you have children her age wanting to know why.
Tonight, tears and prayers as people pour in from surrounding communities to show their support.
Somebody's pain is everyone's pain.
After the devastating tragedy, residents say they must find strength in one another.
We hate that it happened, but we need to just rebuild our community and stay strong. Like the 2 heroes that rushed after, thank God they did, because he might not have been stopped if they didn't.
Late today, we also learned that Vice President Mike Pence and his wife Karen Pence will be here on Wednesday to meet with members of this grief-stricken community. Reporting in Sutherland Springs, Jane Caffrey, Chris 6 News.
We've also learned that the alleged gunman bought 2 firearms from Academy Sports and Outdoors today. The company released this statement here. It said in part that Academy, quote, sends our deepest condolences to the families of the victims and the entire Sutherland Springs community. The statement also acknowledges that the suspect bought the weapons from 2 of its stores in San Antonio. Academy says that it's cooperating with law enforcement during the investigation. Today, the Air Force says that it failed to report the shooter's domestic violence record to the FBI, which is required.